Hello again, everybody. I'm Tim Takis, Takis McGinnis Elder Care Law Hour, and today we're talking about the judicial system, how it becomes involved in aging issues, specifically probate, conservatorships, and mediation.
And I'm Barbara McGinnis. In this segment, we're going to be talking with Sara Figal, who is the Executive Director of the Nashville Conflict Resolution Center. And she's going to tell us what that means. What is the Nashville Conflict Resolution Center? Welcome, Sara.
Thanks for having me. We are a nonprofit community mediation center. What that means is, we exist as many community mediation centers across the country. We provide mediation services for lower income and vulnerable residents for the most part, in a whole number of cases. We function mostly in Davidson County and surrounding counties. We serve Rutherford and Williamson, Sumner, pretty much anybody who needs us. We'll try and do what we can.
Mm-hmm. So we've been talking about mediation.
Yeah.
So what is mediation and how does that differ from arbitration or litigation or something else?
Mediation is probably the most flexible of all options people have to somehow formally come together and solve a crisis. Litigation obviously is very important when people have issues that simply need to be analyzed in very strict legal parameters. Things can often only be dealt with in very small, legally specific ways, and decisions are made by a judge, and there you have it. Arbitration is a little less formal. You don't have to bring a problem in front of a judge, but a decision ultimately is going to be made by an arbiter in your case. What I love about mediation is that it's a process that invites people to bring their conflicts to a trained facilitator. The process is confidential. Everything that touches the case and the hearts of the participants can be brought into the conversation, and the participants are really the drivers of an outcome. The participants in a mediation are the ones who say, how can we create a plan going forward that we can all live with for everybody?
Do you have to be an attorney to be a mediator?
You don't. And as at the Nashville Conflict Resolution Center, we work with pro bono mediators. At any given moment, I probably have 40 volunteers who are working with us, maybe 100 each year. And some are attorneys, some aren't attorneys. We train them according to Supreme Court standards, of course. And then we give them a lot of trauma-informed care training, a lot of extra training. And what's interesting is, of course, attorney mediators certainly bring reality testing skill sets to the process. They often have a real hurdle in learning to ask open-ended questions and to actually invite participants to say, hey, I have an out-of-the-box solution, because attorneys know kind of what the law might dictate. But sometimes people, with their wisdom and their own private lives, have better insight into the needs of a particular case.
Yeah. So it sounds like maybe part of the mediation, what's different about it is that it allows the participants to create their own solutions.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So certainly there are some disputes that are mediation appropriate.
Yes.
Which ones do you think are most likely to be or are really appropriate for that?
I think any case that involves ongoing relationships between disputing parties should mediate as part of a process. I think I'm a fan. I'm a fan of dialogue, of compassionate dialogue. I think, what mediation does is really invite people to be their best selves after, to come to a conflict with their best selves and look for a solution. Mediation is not always the only piece of solving a problem. Sometimes people will mediate and still go to court because they can't solve everything in a mediation. But what they have done is open channels of communication and found kind of a common ground on what maybe a judge finally does have to agree on, and they'll leave better able to collaborate moving forward. At the same time, most of the mediations that we conduct really do resolve cases in very surprising ways, and then people don't have to go through the kind of the trauma of a legal case, of a battle.
So does the court system refer to you? How do you work with the court system in Davidson County?
We do work with the courts because actually the Nashville Conflict Resolution Center has mediation programs for all ages and all case types. And we work with juvenile offenders. We work in certain schools to get kids out of the prison pipeline, out of the courts.
So what about conservatorships?
With conservatorships,
how does that work? Mediation work?
With older individuals and elder care issues, they tend to come to us either from attorneys. So an attorney may be representing a party in a case like this. An attorney might say, you know, I really think this is the sort of thing that ought to mediate. You probably don't need to spend the money going through the courts. Let's give this a shot. So we'll get cases that way. And then, oddly, we get cases referred from general sessions. We have a number of cases that probably will end up in probate court, and parties aren't really sure how to navigate the legal system yet. We serve general sessions the pro se docket. That means we serve for free anybody who goes to court
Without
in a
an
case
attorney.
with no attorneys.
Yeah.
And they'll come to mediation, and sometimes our answer is, well, you know, maybe Judge Kennedy is going to have to make a decision.
Right.
But in many, many cases, it turns out that mediation is what the family needed to clear the air, to understand issues, and to figure out how to move forward together.
I think that's really exciting. So, I mean, I think you've answered my next question, which was really what happens when the court-ordered mediation fails. They wind up back in court, you know, but they still probably wouldn't have totally failed.
We never think of it as failing. And I tell my mediators who are training, the fact that you show up with compassion and a sense of calm, and you help people start to hear each other as people and not just stare at each other as problems,
Yes.
means you've helped them get further in their case. You've helped them in their lives. If they don't solve the problem today, that's okay. Some cases need a judge. But all cases probably will benefit from the kind of communication that mediation allows to happen in these conflicted situations.
So right now someone's watching this program and they're going, you know, I'm really having problems with my family, or we're having problems with figuring out
Just call me on the
how
phone.
to take care of mom.
Just call me on the phone.
Call you on the phone.
Seriously, just call me on the phone.
Okay, and so how does that
We're
start?
bleeding heart nonprofits.
Okay, well,
we'll
that's
just
good.
help you.
Okay. So now, do you accept any payment at all, or is it all free?
Well, most of what we do is free. We
Okay.
have some cases that we do charge a sliding scale for. It's income based. And again, you know, we're a nonprofit. If someone says, gosh, you know, my case would apply to the sliding scale, but because of all these reasons I can't pay, we say, okay.
Right.
Most cases that come to us that are not referred through any one of our multiple programs, we don't have time to go into all of them, they are subject to a sliding scale fee.
So multiple programs, just give us a couple of examples. We've got about a minute or so.
So we serve juvenile offenders to try and help them learn to take accountability and create positive outcomes instead of going through the juvenile court system.
Yeah.
And we work in public housing. We will go to any of the public housing neighborhoods and help people de-escalate conflict so they don't face eviction, which, as you know, in Nashville is really catastrophic.
Yes.
We serve a pro se docket in the civil court, and we do many hundreds of parenting and visitation cases every year, usually with parents who've never been married and who are really struggling to figure out how to co-parent children without fighting and really traumatizing the children. We help them kind of find ways to move forward so the children can thrive.
Great.
Great. You know, you said call you, so we're going to put your contact information
Right.
up on the screen.
Right up there.
Absolutely. And
NashvilleConflict.org. Remember, it's Sara Figal, right?
Yep.
Okay, and I'm Tim Takis. And so for more information about the organizations and resources that are mentioned on today's show, visit our website, tn-elderlaw.com, and click on the News Hour tab. Be sure to tune in next time for our more candid discussions about challenges created by aging, chronic conditions, disability, and unexpected illness. I'm Tim Takis, and thanks for joining us today.
And I'm Barbara McGinnis. Goodbye.